President Trump has deployed 2 aircraft carrier battle groups within striking distance of Iran. Trump has said military strikes may be needed to persuade Iran to accept a deal to limit its nuclear program.
They better negotiate a fair deal.
They better.
An Iranian government spokesman warning Monday that Iran would react ferociously to even a limited attack. Last summer, after Israel and the U.S. attacked Iran, dozens of Iranian missiles slipped through Israel's sophisticated air defenses.
And these are things that we're not seeing, guys.
Prime Minister Netanyahu said if Iran attacks again, Israel would respond with a force Iran cannot imagine. Gaza is proof of what that might mean.
This is what they're trying to do over there. Look at it.
I went into Gaza yesterday with the Israeli military, which remains the only way foreign journalists are allowed in. The Israeli military wanted to show reporters that it is still finding Hamas tunnels, including this one.
Here is the entrance itself. Gonna have
Look at what these guys are doing.
This stage.
Israel claims this newly found tunnel is proof that if Israeli troops fully pull out of Gaza, Hamas could regroup and carry out more attacks.
How are they getting funded
even
to
after
even
all
build
the
these tunnels?
exploration and digging, they still don't know how many miles of tunnels are dug underneath Gaza.
Who's funding
Gaza,
these people?
Despite President Trump's ceasefire, we saw no reconstruction underway. And the Palestinians who once lived here were forced to leave by Israel.
Is crazy.
A Gaza camera crew found some of the former residents living far away, in tents and in squalor.
As y'all can see, tensions is rising again with between Iran and the U.S., and the world is definitely watching, guys. Like, it's been non-stop back and forth between Iran and the U.S. As far as negotiation goes, but they can't seem to get it together. They can't seem to get to the table and be like, you know what, let's squash this thing. But believe it or not, I don't think it's ever going to happen, because we're right in line with biblical prophecy, guys. I'm trying to tell y'all, when y'all get a chance, y'all have to go back and read Ezekiel, the 38th chapter.
Now in Jerusalem, you may hear the Muslim call to prayer behind me. I've also recently been to Iran, where both citizens and government officials told me they want a deal with the United States, but fully expect there will be an attack against Iran nonetheless.
Both sides are saying they want a deal to happen, but the climate of what's happening over there in Iran, and even with the people of Iran, shows that there's something that they're not letting the public know, which is us. Because if the deal was going to happen, major protests all over the country would not be happening with the citizens of Iran.
Iran is seeing a massive rise in protests as the White House weighs possible military action in the region.
This comes as Secretary of State Marco Rubio is set to head to Israel later this week.
Madeline Rivera is live in Washington with the latest. Good morning, Maddie.
Good morning. This would appear to be the first large-scale demonstrations in Iran since the regime brutally cracked down on protesters last month. Reuters was able to verify this video of a protest at an Iranian university, one of many that reportedly broke out over the weekend. The protests mark the 40th day of mourning for those killed by Iran's security forces. And in this footage, demonstrators are chanting, "Long live the king." Iran is facing major pressure from the U.S. to make a deal over its nuclear program. President Trump is considering a limited strike to force Iran to come to the negotiating table.
So as you can see, they are protesting. A lot of students came around these universities to protest against what's been happening, or what happened during the first protest, basically mourning all of the lives that were lost from the first protest that broke out because of a failing economy. And we spoke about that here in this channel already. But as you can see, they're still protesting on what's going on with the regime. But, you know, there's no real way to tell, like, you know, if they're protesting against their own government, or is it against the United States. But as you can see, tensions are definitely building over there in Iran. And we just seen that the president, or President Donald Trump, just said that, yo, he's thinking about limited strikes on Iran to try to get them to come to a deal. So now, like, we were all told as kids, yo, you can't fight fire with fire. But here it is, the U.S. is trying to fight fire with fire. All right, you're not listening to me, so I'm going to hit you with a couple of military strikes, and maybe that'll get you to listen. I believe that's just going to incite more and more war talks and strikes on either side. And we seen in an earlier video that even the state of Israel is talking about sending strikes over there. So it's gonna get crazy. It's not gonna get better. So all of these talks that they say that they're having, who knows how real those talks really are? Like, from what I'm seeing, is just tension.
They've been enriching well beyond the number that you need for civil nuclear. It's up to 60%. They're probably a week away from having industrial grade bomb making material. And that's really dangerous.
Why do they want to stop them from having nuclear arms?
But there are questions over whether the U.S. has demanded Iran to stop enriching uranium entirely. The president insists the program must end, but Iran's foreign minister said last week the U.S. did not make that ask. And Iran's president maintains defiance, saying, "We will not lower our heads in the face of these difficulties, even though the outside world and global powers are unfairly pressing us to submit. We will not bow our heads." The U.S. ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, says this.
The Iranians have been serving up murder and mayhem for 47 years. It's never been directed just in the Middle East. Americans
this is what they're telling us, though.
They've killed thousands of Americans in this 47 years. They put a contract out on President Trump. There's a person who's been indicted for that.
He is back and forth. He said, she said,
guys. The Western Hemisphere through their proxies, like Hezbollah, in 12 countries in the Western Hemisphere now.
They're all big kids.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio is heading to Israel this week to update Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on the nuclear talks.
Listen, I don't know about y'all, but it just looks like a lot of he said, she said going on between these two countries. Two big kids with a lot of money and a lot of ammo just going at it. But my thing is, why should the United States have a say in what and what not Iran can do as far as nuclear capabilities? I mean, uranium, it could be used for, a number of things, especially for power for their country and their infrastructure. And that could bring forth a lot of job opportunities for the Iranian citizens and probably help out with the financial crisis that's going on over there. But here it is, Big Brother USA want to step in and take control over the country. And they're also using the riots and the protesting with its citizens as showing Iran having a form of instability, which would give the United States legal right to go in and be like, you know what, we can help the situation. Let us help your people because you guys can't basically help your own people, your own citizens. I don't know how that makes sense, but listen, I guess that's what it is when you have world, what is it, superpower status amongst all of the world leaders.
Tensions rise between the US and Iran, the White House denying reports that Chairman of the Joint Chiefs Dan Cain is advising the president against striking the Iranian regime. On social media, President Trump calling the reports 100% incorrect, saying General Cain, like all of us, would like not to see war, but if a decision is made on going against Iran at a military level, it's his opinion that it'll be something easily won. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth insisting the military's standing by.
Never could get the truth.
Is on the table. It's the president's decision. We're here to help ensure that a deal is made. And I think Iran would be wise to make a deal.
They're there to help
Chairman of the Joint Chiefs Dan Cain has reportedly cautioned strikes against Iran could risk significant U.S. casualties and
that's
be
a smart
due to lack of allied support. The U.S. pushing a deal on Iran's nuclear program, despite the president saying online that it was blown to smithereens during a U.S. bombing operation last year. Trump's special envoy to the Middle East now saying Iran is still capable of building a nuclear weapon. But this isn't
Of course they are.
UN nuclear watchdogs have said this for months, with Iran long denying it's trying to develop a nuclear weapon. The White House has offered other reasons for a potential attack too.
They better negotiate a fair deal.
They better negotiate,
You know, the
he said.
people of Iran are a lot different than the leaders of Iran.
Trump initially threatening Iran over violence against protesters, claiming he prevented mass executions. Demonstrations against the regime led to a violent crackdown last month,
Look at
with
this.
thousands of Iranians killed. The president appearing to use that violence as yet another reason to send in the U.S. military. And Trump also repeatedly supporting the idea of regime change, saying it seems like that would be the best thing that could happen.
The United States, especially Donald Trump, is not playing around with Iran. He's making serious threats, talking about they better make the deal, right? They want to go in and they want a possible regime change. And we've been hearing about this regime change. And a lot of you may not understand, what does that even look like? Like, do we think that the Ayatollah or whoever's ruling Iran is going to step down and allow the U.S. to control their country, their economy, their people? Brothers and sisters, I always tell y'all have to understand how to follow the money. Listen, y'all have to know how to follow it, because that's what it's about. It's about money, power, and control. We spoke about this before on this channel. We spoke about how there's a key point in Iran that the United States of America wants to control. And as you can see, it is called the Strait of Hormuz. That little choke point right there, Iran controls that area. And why that area is so significant is because the flow of oil comes through there and goes and transports throughout all of the world. So now if the United States is able to go in and control that particular area, that's world dominance on another level. I can control the flow of oil and I can control what comes in and what comes out. That's basically running the country. That's basically having power over the country and over how the United States can negotiate deals with other nations, because I can control the flow of oil. Because what? Every nation needs oil. Every nation needs that what's called liquid gold to run their economy, to run their infrastructure for vehicles, production of in manufacturers to run these plants. So oil is very crucial, right? So, and we've seen what happened when the U.S. went into Venezuela and seized all of those barrels of oil, right? So so the U.S. went in and seized all those barrels of oil from Venezuela. And mind you, China, along with Iran, was also already in league with the Venezuelans and making deals with them, right? So the U.S. got in front of that because they couldn't have enemies of the United States go in and be basically next door to the United States. And this is another reason why the United States want to acquire Greenland. Greenland is another strategic zone where they want to set up what's called that Golden Dome. It's a missile defense system, right? For possible strikes from, enemy countries. And this is what they're trying to get in front of. But listen, prophecy must stand. Prophecy must stand. So we've been talking about this. We've been tracking this thing. And I've been telling y'all, once this war happens and it takes place, it's going to be something that is going to be life-changing for not just for these countries, but for all of us. It's going to affect all of us some way, somehow. So we got to keep on watching with this. Like I say, we got to watch and pray and understand we are at these times. So listen, tensions is getting hot, and we're going to be tracking it along the way. But I thank you guys for watching this video. Please hit that like button and also subscribe if you haven't done so yet. You're helping out this channel very much. And we thank you for all your participation and thank you for viewing this. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.